Hey guys, my name is Angela Ramondo Dees. I am the wife of Steve Dees, and I'm sure you've heard his testimony about his life, how we met, and how our lives have changed throughout our marriage, our relationship, and my life in general. So when I first knew about God, of course I was young, and I didn't know who he was or the relationship, and what a relationship between a father and a daughter should be like. I know that with my earthly father, that I lost when I was 13 years old, died of cancer, lung cancer, and I was left with family to take care of me, which I was very blessed about. And I think that's when I took that first step to realizing that I was by myself. I had family around, but I didn't experience what a true family was until I got married to Steve. And that was the beginning of my own family. And I was so happy and so blessed. And I know that I had God in my heart. And I saw that Steve struggled with his previous, relationships. And he opened his heart out to me, which I was very surprised. And I just was thinking at that time, how can I help this man get to know God more? And I remember telling him that he needs to build a relationship with those who he lost touch with, and was kind of pushing him towards getting back together, in touch with his dad, because they hadn't talked in a long time because of situations that they went through as son and father. And when that relationship between him and his father came back, it was a blessing. And I think that at that point I knew why I was there. And I've always felt that with Steve, I was there for a reason. And when throughout our marriage, it hasn't been, it wasn't perfect, of course, like any marriage. And I always told myself, there has to be a reason why I'm here. We're married, and because whatever I'm going through, whatever Steve's going through, I'll stand by his side no matter what. And I remember talking to my brother one time, and he was just putting me down because, of course, no guy is good for your sister. So I remember telling my brother, God's grace is sufficient for us. We don't need, these lavish trips. We don't need, these big cars. We don't need a big house. Because my brother was always telling me, you deserve better, And I remember just yelling out loud, God takes care of our family. We may not have a lot, but God is always there for us, no matter what. And that was the very first time I spoke out loud and, over my brother. And he was surprised. And, I think he understood where it's coming from. So now, throughout our life, recently found out that I have cervical cancer, which, again, life brings things to us where we are either going to let it bring us down and just, be angry and just think about ourselves. But for me, I think this cancer is anything good or bad is always something that God is teaching us. And I think that because I have God in my heart, because I can trust in Him and know that He'll pull me through this, that everything will come out fine. And not only for myself, but, with the people surrounding me, with the people who don't know God, will be able to see the strength that He gives me, and know that anything that we go through, again, good or bad, that God will prevail. God will see us through it, and God will let me be strong enough to pull through this and let others see God work through me, and to just always look to Him for guidance. And there's some verses that comes to mind. In 1 Corinthians 2:8, it says, "No one has ever imagined what God has prepared for those who love Him." And we can't imagine that because, again, we go through life, we go through tough times, hard times, but it's how we pull through, and it's how we trust in God to pull us through. And when others that surrounding us would just sit around and say, or look at you and say, "Why are you going through this? Why are you putting yourself through this? You can do so much better. You can have so much more." But it's not about that. It's about going through what God has put you in, and giving it greater purpose, and putting God's name there. Another verse is Matthew 5:16. "You should be a light for other people. Live so that they will see the good things you do and will praise your Father in heaven." So when I do things because I know it makes people happy. I do things because I know that at the end of the day, the other person will be blessed. And I know that not only at church, but in the workplace, on the softball field, people see you and they see how you are, and they wonder, this girl is going through cancer and she's smiling. And they always ask me, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how you're doing it." And they give me these eyes like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, I'm okay, I'm good, because I know I have God with me, and He's in my heart all the time. That and I know that I'm going through this for a greater purpose. And if it's to bring others who don't know Christ to want to know who He is because of the strength that He gives me, then that's my purpose, is for others to see that no matter how hard you have it, no matter what life brings you, good or bad, there's so many ways to bless other people. So I want to leave it with Psalm 37:5. It says, "Depend on the Lord, trust Him, and He will take care of you." And He has taken care of me and my family, and my church family, and just people around me. And I will always trust in Him, because trust is a huge thing, and God has never ever left me he's always there no matter what. Thank you.